one of the things that's come out since this weekend's game is that, and we've talked about it before, but we didn't really have an identity. And it seems like we are going to be more of this ball control kind of, balanced team where we're kind of emphasizing this run game. And one thing that that's happened this past week, the Jets released veteran running back Dalvin Cook. And this is an interesting one that it's making the rounds within the Chiefs world online. And should the Chiefs go get him? So the Jets released him. I think 4:00 today. He'll be officially placed on waivers and done. And he can go wherever he wants to. And he wants to go play for a contender. That's the reason why they're cutting him. Mm-hmm. Now, the Chiefs in the RB room, we've kind of dealt with injuries all throughout the year. But Pacheco had the surgery a couple weeks ago, then the concussion. McKinnon went to IR with a groin injury. CEH has been sick, in and out of the lineup. And this past week specifically, this is one thing that kind of comes to mind. When Pacheco was needed to be spelled during that game, I remember one play specifically when P. Ryan went in there. P. Ryan had no idea where we were supposed to line up. Mahomes was getting kind of get pissed off as far as where he was supposed to line up, trying to tell him where to go. And I think they call a timeout on that play. But that was one thing that stood out to me, was that he was the only other healthy back besides Pacheco. Pacheco, he was dealing that game, so he needed a spell at one point. But the fact that we've talked about how great Dalvin Cook is. The guy only had 67 carries this year. So he's still pretty fresh. He's not an old running back by any means. He's not he's this old veteran coming in at the end of his career. Dalvin Cook's still young. And I'm not saying we're going to sign him for a long-term deal. It'd be a 1-year deal, I think. But do you think Dalvin Cook, there is somewhat of a, I guess, a kind of a big deal to pick him up? I mean, do you think he would be an impact type player for us right now to pick up Dalvin Cook with all the injuries we have in the RB room?
Is this a trick question? Is this a trick question?
It's not. I mean, it's a funny question because every Chiefs fan, whenever somebody gets dropped, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, pick him up." And I think with the RB problems that we've had, RB injuries we've had, I think it actually is one, for the first time. It's one of the ones. It's that's actually pretty realistic. I mean, it would make sense.
All right, I was saying that facetiously, but yes, Dalvin Cook. If we could get Dalvin Cook here, then, I mean, that would be incredible. It really would. Not saying that he would, unseat Pacheco, but to give Pacheco a break, a 1-2 punch between Isaiah Pacheco and Dalvin Cook. You mean one of the most prolific running backs we've seen in the past 5 years? Dalvin Cook, the one that was in Minnesota who got all the yards, was probably one of the better signings this offseason. Dalvin Cook, older brother James Cook, who's starting to come on a little bit up in Buffalo, who's probably learned a lot from his big brother, who's been 4-time Pro Bowler, Dalvin Cook. Is this who we're talking about here?
That one, yeah.
Yes. Sign me up. Absolutely. The thing is, would he come here to do it is the question. If he saw forward, he understands what his role is going to be, which will be a limited role. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Well, I mean, why wouldn't you? Especially if you can run for, play for a contender. This, without a doubt, would help reiterate, and solidify us running and dedicating ourselves to running the football. Especially if you have somebody like this in a room. You wouldn't have to teach Dalvin Cook anything about running the football, finding lanes, getting extra yards, catching the ball out the back. You wouldn't have to teach him anything. When you ask businesses like a turnkey operation, right? It has no risk at it. This is one of those deals that you take as a business. So as a player, a guy like Dalvin Cook, who, like you said, doesn't really have a lot of hits or carries this past year because, Breece Hall's been killing it up there.
Yeah.
I've had Breece on my fantasy, and rightfully so. Breece is, he is who he is. He's the dude. But I really did think they was going to use Dalvin Cook more than what they used it. I think it's probably one of the biggest travesties this past season is not seeing a Dalvin Cook up there running the football in the Jets, who has been struggling, right? But again, Breece Hall, right? But here coming to the Chiefs, man, I'd love to have a Dalvin Cook. When he was a free agent, I'm like, hey, man, shoot, take a look at him. Obviously, the price point was going to be, we weren't going to spend that type of money on a running back at the time. It just wasn't. And Pacheco was a beast back there. So it didn't make any sense to do that. But having a guy like that, a veteran guy that understands football, 4-time Pro Bowler. Hello, Dalvin Cook, one of the best running backs in the past 5 years, Dalvin Cook. Yes. And like I said again, it would have to be cared for a limited role. It would be to help out, in the playoffs. Can he give us something? No doubt about it. Would he love to come here for the Chiefs? Absolutely. And play for a championship? Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he want to do that? I think part of that with him going up into New York was thinking that Aaron was going to come up there, right? And that was kind of like the thing, them playing for a championship. Well, he has that now. He could do that here with the Chiefs. So, no doubt about it, brother. No doubt about it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I love it for the fact that there's a huge unknown with McKinnon. We don't know. He's placed on IR. We don't know when. We haven't really talked about him at all. And it's scary. A groin injury for a running back. That's a scary injury. And the fact that he was placed on IR, it's obviously it's troublesome. And the fact that we're talking about we're moving towards this kind of balance, more of a ground and pound kind of thing, based on what we saw this past week, kind of feeding Pacheco, the play action. We're starting to see a little bit more of that this past weekend. You need a guy like that, and if we're spelling him, we're using him as much as we are. P. Ryan, who doesn't even know where to line up out there. I know, whatever. He got thrown into the fire, but like, not McKinnon. Dalvin Cook provides a little bit of. I mean, this guy was catching 40, 50 balls in Minnesota. I don't think people even forget. People forget that he was catching 40, 50 balls at the backfield. So it's like you're getting a guy who can provide you a little bit of what McKinnon gave us, and then he'll also a little ground and pound, so he can give you what Pacheco's giving you. Obviously, a limited scale. He's a little older now, but this is a guy who can come in right away and give you a boost when Pacheco's not in there. I give you a boost when McKinnon's not in there, or CH if he's injured. I mean, this would be huge. And yeah, and the report was they're releasing him so he can play for a contender. And I mean, there's not another team that could use him. There's a couple other teams in the playoffs they're in the playoffs that could use him. But I think he would come in right away and give us a boost, because when Pacheco's not in the game, we never have to worry about if Dalvin Cook's in the game.
Dude, Dalvin Cook, I know you said a little older. Dalvin Cook has to slow down a bit. I didn't see him slow down in last year in Minnesota. Sure. Matter of fact, let me see. He rushed for 1,173 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's what he had.
Pretty good.
Pretty daggone good, right? And so, yes, 4-time Pro Bowler Dalvin Cook has a possibility of getting here to the Chiefs and signing him. Hey, man, it works. This would be like immediately the best 1-2 punch here in the league, going into the playoffs. Something that you could definitely utilize as a weapon. Now we talk about check down weapon.
Yeah,
he's a check down weapon for sure to our guys. This opens up the passing game because you have a legitimate running game. We know what you have with Pacheco, but Dalvin Cook would without a doubt be a threat to defenses that you would have to honor a true running back. Everybody sees Dalvin Cook on the other side, they be like, oh, okay, all right, sure, right? With him and Pacheco, yeah, there's no drop off. No drop off. Because that's how we look at it. Is it going to be a drop off with CH? Yeah, maybe a drop off. McKinnon, he's been hurt. Yeah, drop off. Dalvin Cook, none. Matter of fact, if anything, you get a little bit more because of experience.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, man, shoot, come on.
And sometimes what's interesting is like you look at a guy, because Dalvin Cook, has been in the league since 2017, and you think this guy's an elder statesman, older guy. He's only 28, and it's like he's not an old dude. He's not an old dude at all. Veteran, but he's not this older guy. Like, and I think I made a joke online yesterday because the last few years we've been big on picking up the veteran type running backs. Yeah. When you got Shady McCoy, Le'Veon Bell, and those guys were pretty much. It was pretty much the twilight of their careers, the end. Getting a Dalvin Cook to come in for this stretch run in the playoffs. This is a guy who's 28 who could potentially, you could say, you know what, you can give him because he's young enough where he can play well in the playoffs for us, and they get a decent sized contract in the offseason.
Yeah,
someone else.
Dude, he's got another 2 or 3 years left in him easy. Especially this year, probably helped him out because he's not getting any type of hits, right? Yeah. I mean, shoot, if anything, that might help out his career. So he's still getting to practice. Le'Veon sat out that entire year and then trying to get to camp the very next year and all of right. Shady's been on, 6 teams, 16 of them. I don't know, but he was, he had been a journeyman, different places, and he had a long career, a very successful one, and Andy knew him. But Dalvin Cook, man, if we could get Dalvin Cook, that would reinvigorate the entire offense. Okay, to say, well, we can go and run 3rd and 4 and run Dalvin Cook, or throw it out the backfield. He can get open. He's done it against every linebacker that you need. Who you want to put on against him? He'll beat him. So that's never a question. Come on, man. A younger McKinnon, right? McKinnon had to leave, from Minnesota, go to San Fran because Dalvin Cook, was the guy.
Yeah. So, and look at his game log as far as receiving. So 2018, so 2017 was his rookie season. He only played in 4 games that year, but 2018, 40 catches, 2019, 53 catches, 2020, 44 catches, 2021, 34 catches, 2022, 39 catches. So he's a threat in the backfield as well. So that's another huge thing with him. And also too, what do you think about this? If let's say we are the ones to pursue Dalvin Cook, what does that say about McKinnon's injury?
It's been kind of, like you said, it's been kind of up in the air. And so a groin injury is something you cannot play with. That is your livelihood for running backs, is your legs. And so McKinnon is somebody that we desperately needed in this offense. And especially now we know it's playoff time is when he really starts hitting. He really starts humming. So, that tells me it's probably a more significant injury than we know.
Yeah.
And so, trying to heal that, man, it's tough business. So, yeah, man. If you're serious about a playoff run, I don't see why not. This makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Like I said, as long as he understands his role, he's cool with it. Hey, man, then absolutely, no doubt about it.
He was there at the Jets game when Pacheco had that 60-70 yard touchdown run. So I think he knows what we have in the building. So I think if he does come to Kansas City, he knows he's the 1B to Pacheco being the 1A.
Yeah, he's been right behind Brees all season. So this will give him everything he needs. For a contender, he can come in and actually, like I said, give Pacheco a break when he needs it. Take something off his shoulder. And so, can you imagine that 1-2 punch? Pacheco, go ahead and get this series. Dalvin get the next series. Yeah, switch in and switch out. He gets tired. He hits the long run. Pacheco hits the long run. Hey, tap my hat. Who you looking at? Dalvin Cook? Oh, yeah. Come on. Sign me up. Your time. Get on in there, man. Show them how it's done. Yes.
I'd never be concerned about our running back situation at that.
Never.
Man.
That's why I said, is that a trick question?
Well, at first I don't know because sometimes people go a little too overboard. It's like, oh, go get him. Any guy gets dropped. That was the running joke on the Chiefs game Twitterverse. It's like, oh, that guy got dropped. Go get him. Go get him. It's like, wait, we don't even need that position. But this, man,
he looked good in red and white too.
Yeah, he would look pretty damn good. You know what? He was Florida State Seminole. They have the same tomahawk chop chant, so he fits right in already with that.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.